Hello, everyone out there in Twitch chat lands. Special shout out to all the EU fans currently in various stages of grief there in Twitch chat. My name's Drakos. Joined here across from me is Frosk and I, and between us is none other than two-time back-to-back final caster, immaculate pretty boy, and if you haven't seen it, shirtless Instagram model.
God.
Instagram.com/ I think Medicast,
Medicast.
Medicast. You can see an incredible progress pic from our boy here. Sudden cardio enthusiast, man of many talents, none of the medic. Here to, I wish I could say sharing the joy, but sharing the absolute and unbridled depression that is being an LEC fan or an LEC pundit today. Welcome, medic. How was it from watching the games from home? Was it as depressing as it was casting it? Did you have to hold it back?
I did a little bit. I was in a group call with the NA casters while it happened.
Why would you do that to yourself?
So I go into the green room because it allows me to flame freak in a way that I can't do on Twitter, because I don't want to push NA down too much, especially since they're winning and we're losing at the moment on Twitter. I feel like it feels a bit like punching down, so I have to go into the green room so I can say bad things to Freak. But then it slowly descended into sadness as I watched Mad Lions lose game after game. So
it was rough.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we invited you onto the show because we certainly needed a medic after that brutal one.
Yeah.
We need a coroner. We're gonna branch out. We need someone to fucking burn the body. Like, what
wow! Oh
here?
God, Drakos.
What's that called? Cremate. Sorry,
Yeah, but,
burning the body is a little more graphic than the word cremate.
I'm not sure we want to cremate the Mad Lions yet. Like, give the guys a chance.
We sent them to the farm. Good old Mad Lions. Now they get to run free and play with all the other lions.
They go there. They join Origin, H2K.
They're a protected species now. No one else is allowed to beat them up. That's what it means to fall out of worlds. God damn, what a fucking disaster. I'm still reeling because like in that cast, you know, like anyone who watches, like the pursuit of being an unbiased caster is very much putting aside your personal feelings and just being excited for either team, kind of taking the nameplates off and just being excited for who's ever playing better League of Legends or who's ever making big plays. And you got to factor in player storylines and all that jazz. But I'm watching Mad Lions die slowly, and I'm dying slowly on the inside. But on the outside, I know it's unfair to the TCL fans if I'm a fucking sad boy. Because let me tell you, when H2K lost at like IEM in 2017. My exact win phrase was, "Oh no!" My win call for Game 1 of like Flash Wolves versus H2K was, "Oh no!" And I will never go back to that moment. But in my head, just know, EU fans, anytime I'm like, "Great victory for Supermassive," I mean two things. I mean one, great victory for Supermassive, and two, I mean oh no. So fuck me, like brutal day. And I mean technically a back and forth series, but I don't know. It didn't feel. No. It was 5 games, but it didn't feel close. Does that make sense? Like Matt could have won, and it still would have felt like Supermassive were the better team, which is a shitty feeling.
Like it feels like Shadow got out jungled every single game. Humanoid obviously had good and bad games. I think his individual performance was strong, but I think Supermassive really figured out how to minimize his impact, especially with the set and the Galio picks. I really loved that and the adaptation there. Orome was getting smurfed on by Orome. And bot lane was like fine. I think it really depended on matchup. Sometimes Karzi and Kaiser were popping off. Sometimes Snowflower and Zeitnot were popping off. But I think real big diff in the top side and also drafting in general. I don't know what that last game draft was. I was kind of scratching my head. I think I literally during the cast in the draft phase, as soon as Renekton gets locked down, I'm like, surely this will be a Renekton.
Yeah, it was good to listen to. Because it's strange because obviously we don't have full insight on what's going on behind those decision-making protocols, but it's like you got Ornn a couple of times, you won both times playing a tanky top laner and strong bot sides. What are we going to do this time? Oh, we'll play a bruiser top laner that doesn't really win the matchup into the Malphite, which is great pick by the way, and not just go for this like traditional front to back meatball composition. So I feel Orome was the weakest player in the series, and probably actually the weakest player, one of the weakest players at Worlds so far.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because I think Orome did have really good games on the Ornn. Obviously, I do agree with, and I think it's a very fair statement to say that on the day he was really outclassed by Armut. I will say, though, that I know that like Renekton gets a lot of hate, and I definitely didn't like it in this situation, but I also have had conversations, Drakos, you also with Orome about Renekton, and I do think that he does get like a really bad rap. And kind of one of the cool things that Renekton does offer as a top laner is that he's a disruptive top laner. He doesn't really have dive onto backline. Like, he can do it if he finds a flank, and people like kind of judge that of what Renekton should be good at, his ability to get into the backline to like assassinate someone, which Orome did a couple of times this game. But if things do start going sideways, if you do get outscaled, Renekton can also sit on top of your hyper carry and just peel for them, because anyone who dives into the backline, if you are just a giant crocodile standing on top of your little 80 carry and you kill them, my issue is that like while Senna can meet those requirements, it takes a really long time. And I just would have liked some like difference here. But like theoretically, there was a world where if the Renekton did fall behind, Orome's job and responsibility doesn't come into assassinating backlines, but literally just standing on top of Karzi and trying to abuse with the range that whatever champion he has. Just didn't happen.
Well, I agree with you like on paper. I do think that people are way too hyperbolic about Renekton's weaknesses, and I think that conversation we had with Orome where we talked about the potential for Renekton to peel is real, and is like, it is a valid reason to like pick a champion who's going to win lane, and then also have a champion who, even if he doesn't get ludicrously far ahead, which to be fair we have seen from Orome, he did have 1 or 2 Renekton games where he really popped off domestically. He can still peel. The problem is that shit does not fucking work against a champion who is unstoppable in their ultimate. And is built, and just additionally also against Set, because Set is going to push W, and you're either in range of the W or not. And no matter how many stuns Renekton has like raring and ready to go, it doesn't. So I'm with you philosophically, Froster, and I still think people are overcritical of Renekton. But in this case, the second
it was not a good pick here.
It was fucking doomed. It was fucking doomed.
Yeah, because what had we seen at that point in the draft? Had we already seen the Set? We'd seen Set, Caitlyn, Lilia, right?
Excellent question, Medic. I do not know. I should know off the top of my head. I was there and I cast it.
I don't actually have the exact one up, so I'm gonna find
I can be helpful here. Hold on. It's Mad versus Supermassive game 5. I'm trying to erase that from my brain.
Actually, shout out to Supermassive. They like baited the trap. It's like Lilia, Caitlyn, Morgana.
Yeah. The Set Malphite
champions.
Lost.
Yeah, you see squishy champions. Oh, you know, like Mad Lions are like, oh, sick. Like we can make sure that like we can always threaten this Caitlyn. We can always threaten this Morgana. You know, Renekton's gonna, if he ever finds a flank, we just win the game. And then they spring their trap. They spring double tanks into what is now like the full fucking 80 composition of Mad Lions. So
I just feel like you had much better options though. Like I get what you're saying, like spring the trap, but you still have much better options than picking Renekton 4 here.
I mean, what do you? I mean, you pick Sion.
I mean, you could go in Sion. I've seen in the chat Cho'Gath. Obviously, I don't think we've seen Orome play Cho'Gath.
I'm checking right now.
So I mean, my thing is like ultimately this is game 5, right? And I think given how, let's be honest, how much of a struggle actually, I'm gonna pull my punches. Orome's gonna get enough shit today. How much of a struggle this tournament has been for Orome? I think Coach goes, "What do you want?" Orome knows what's available, and he says Renekton. And I'm not gonna hold that against him, because if that's what he's comfortable with, I get that. But like when you're in that position and your champion is Renekton, and it definitely doesn't fuck your whole draft, but definitely makes your draft, as we see now, very vulnerable to tanks. Like that sucks. That fucking sucks. Because if like the last pick, the pick that Orome is going to be comfortable on, that he feels like he can perform on in lane, instantly opens you up to this Set Malphite, it's just like, it just feels like it's over. It just feels like it's doomed.
I totally agree with that. And like I was probably too harsh on Orome when I said like one of the weakest players in the tournament.
No, but Medic, like
I definitely think he was one of the weakest players in the tournament.
He definitely had one of the weakest lane phase performances.
Yeah, like he consistently lost lane on both
there
sides of every matchup, right?
There are definitely worse players in play-ins, but there were few players who so consistently lost lane as a row.
And he was so obviously a weak point as well. And I think that's the thing that was a real struggle for Mad Lions, right? Like Shadow underperforming has been poor. Like he hasn't performed to his usual level, but he's had some like games where he has stepped up, right?
He needs to expand his champion pool.
Yeah, he needs to get out of just like Lee Sin and a couple of Lilia games here or there. But then Orome is just, we knew him as a weak side top laner. They played well around that in spring. And then here, they tried to give him a little bit more strength at times. And whenever he was given strength, he wasn't able to use it to actually beat out other top laners.
Yeah.
I mean, people will hammer draft tome all day, and I do think that it's like a factor there as well as individual performance. On like the flip side for Supermassive, like consistently, and we talked about this during the games, Drakos, it was like Vision was always a huge issue. Supermassive did a really wonderful job of always creating like pockets of darkness to find their engages on, especially when I feel like sometimes they had compositions that were even harder to execute on over the course of the series. I'm not sure, but I would almost like be very strong to bet that Snowflower probably plays a hand in shot calling for the team, because every time he's grouped up with the team, like shit got done. I loved how usually you see teams, and I'll say this sometimes in casting, like you can tell when a team is thinking about what they want to do, but not about what their opponent wants to do, and then they get caught off guard. Supermassive in this series, I think, really had a good idea about what Mad Lions wanted to do, and kind of at like every opportunity of that, then we're we're able to get in underneath Mad Lions setup and hit them before Mad Lions had set up for the play. You know, this is things like, we know that Mad Lions want to rotate into the bot river because they want to get dragon, so already like they're sitting on mid lane and they're waiting to flash over the wall to get like the massive wombo combo. Or we know that Mad Lions need to slowly peek in towards Baron because we have control over here, and so suddenly like they're sneaking around with the blast cone trying to find them in like a crazy flank situation. Cacao sitting on the blue buff in darkness, he pulls the Shin ultimate from Armu and then like I think picks Shadow as he was heading to blue and taking Gromp. It's things like this that I think are what really makes Supermassive a really special team, and why I'm actually a little bit concerned for Unicorns, because Unicorns really like to flip on Herald, and while they have really gifted individual members and they can snowball really well, I haven't seen the tape from Unicorns at this tournament to show that they can really deal with that. Like, there is a chance that Supermassive just throw themselves at Unicorns and Unicorns just skill check them when they try these little things and they can snowball ahead. But I feel like Supermassive are the smarter team, if you will.
I get that. I think there were like a few times when Supermassive did just throw themselves at their opponents, like Mad Lions. There were like every time Mad won a game, it felt like Supermassive had got a lead and then being like, "Hey guys, we're just gonna chuck ourselves at you," and then Mad Lions would win out a team fight, like some good mechanical plays. So I think Unicorns have that advantage, but Cacao and Snowflower do look very intelligent about the game and very good at setting up like these flank positions in the vision control that you were talking about, Frosk. So I'm actually super excited for the series tomorrow. I get to cast it, which is fun. And not having Mad Lions in it is kind of cool, because it means that I don't have the sinking feeling in my stomach when I start seeing them lose, which I'm sure you guys had today.
You also won't get like lit up for bias, which is great. I felt it a little bit. When it was over, people were like, "Wow, Drakos, you look so angry." I was like, "I wasn't angry. I was disappointed," which we talked about yesterday. That's the worst thing you can say ever, right? I was disappointed. Oh man, sorry.
But it's so hard to hide that as well, though. Like, even if you are the best caster in the world, like seeing a team that you have watched grow over the last year, that you've seen take down G2, that you know is better than this, lose to another team is always going to be disheartening. And no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to hide that. Like, it's pretty much impossible. So
this is what I want to say on your point about vision traps, is that I will say that like I think Cacao got better and better over the course of the series. That was very clear to me. Like the Lilia Graves matchup,
I don't think it was necessarily Cacao getting better. I think it was Supermassive recognizing what they needed in their lanes to facilitate Cacao. And Cacao was just the benefactor of that. And you saw that pretty clearly in the adjustment from what champion they were fighting for Balulu to fight for priority to allow Cacao to do what he did.
I think that's true, but I think the other thing that was really important to me is that I think Cacao, in the first two games, Medic kind of talked about this as well. Like there were two like during the Hacker Room game, he had a few moments where he like engaged just at the worst time and kind of threw away his lead. And in game 2, there's a specific moment where him and Snowflower pair up, and then they get punished by the Senna Leona combo in one particular engage. And those two moments, to me, like after those two moments in the series, I never felt like we saw Cacao really stumble again. Like he had a few moments where he got caught out, or a few fights that he didn't play flawlessly, but like those were the two moments where I was like Supermassive fucked up. And specifically like Cacao, whether this was a decision made by him or an engage initiated by Snowflower, I mean, it's not clear, but like Cacao is the one who looks like he's running it down as a result of that. And the fact that cleaned up over today makes me think that Supermassive you said it's like just identifying Mad, and maybe that's all it is, right? Maybe they figured out what they need to do against Mad, and that like those learnings don't carry over to tomorrow as well. But to me, it looked like Cacao was getting better. So I wonder how much that matters against Anonisic. Anonisic is a guy who's, I think, going to contest this a lot more than Shadow. Is a guy who will play the fucking Nidalee. Like, we're not getting 5 matchups with Graves Nidalee. Graves Lilia. We won't see that tomorrow, which is a big factor. Like jungle matchup is going to matter tomorrow in a big way, and not in a like my mid laner needs to have push so I can do literally anything, but in like both of these guys are huge catalysts for their team. Unlike today where Shadow had fine games, he had a few fine moments, but overall was kind of he did whatever Humanoid did. If Humanoid was winning lane, Shadow was winning. If Humanoid wasn't winning lane, Shadow was chilling.
I think the biggest thing for UOL is their drafting style. Simultaneously, they're like one of the best drafting teams and sometimes like the worst.
Yeah, the Skarner draft stands out to me as.
But like
Also,
the flexibility, the fact that Gadget will take the mage's bottom, that No Man's has a massive champion pool. Ananasek looks super comfortable on all of the meta jungles that we've seen around. I just think that Supermassive won't have the same drafting edge that they did against Mad today, and that's why I'm like, either Unicorns of Love are bringing a lot of tricks, continue to like get these better compositions and they can really match, or I think that Supermassive will be able to outthink Unicorns a bit more consistently. Not that Unicorns aren't a smart team, but it's like making the right decision consistently. Although saying that, we did see some slip-ups of Supermassive. Well, not like a flawless team, but I think that the brain edge is towards Supermassive, and like the drafting edge and brawn edge is slightly towards Unicorns.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it really excites me for the series tomorrow because both these teams do have their coin flip moments, and that it always makes for good League of Legends. Like you saw today when Supermassive were throwing a few extra kills over to Mad, how much closer the game's got and how much more intense the game's got. And I wonder actually for Unicorns whether their drafting edge may bite them in the butt a little bit, just because they do experiment a little bit more, and they do look for like some of these more niche picks like the Orianna bot lane, the Swain bot lane, the Skarner that we haven't really seen, and it can cost them a lot when they're drafting against a team that is more willing just to play their conventional style. Like we saw 5 games of tank top lane, carry jungler, supportive / utility mid with one game of Zoe where it's damage, then damage dealing AD carry, and supportive / utility support, right? Like, can you actually get rid of enough champions that Supermassive can't just do that again for 5 games?
Yeah, I think a lot of it to me comes down to, because I think one of the big things that we really didn't see this series was like, it felt like a lot of trading Cryo and bot lane. Like the one game where I felt like we really saw the 2 games actually where we saw distinct bot lane was the Vayne Leona game where they were just like shoving in, and it was just Alistar couldn't do shit, so Ezreal couldn't do shit, right?
This is just punishing the early alley pick, which I'm
yeah,
glad
punishing the early
did.
alley and the early Ezreal, right? Like we saw Vayne very rarely historically outside of when Ginsu's was OP, so she was OP. But like when we did see it, it was usually to punish. Like when on the off chance someone was stupid enough to ever pick Ezreal and Tahm Kench together, like we saw insta slat Vayne, like just come down to punish champions who can't punish her, right? The other game that was Caitlyn Morgana, where they like really started to take off. Even after Mad Lions had a pretty good level 1, pretty good level 2, they did really start to take off in that lane. They found the duo kill, right? My thing is like Gadget picks the Heimerdinger. He makes sure you're fucking trapped into that tower 24/7. Like, how much does that hurt Supermassive? Because don't get me wrong, I have no doubt that Snowflower himself is an individual playmaker, and if he is the shot caller that we think he is, then like he can definitely run the team while he makes sure that his AD is CSing under tower safely. Like he can sit down in bot lane and do that. But for most of the support playmakers that we know, Kaiser, Mickey X, Hylissang, like most of those guys need to get the fuck out of lane to do anything. And most of those guys aren't micromanaging their team. Admittedly, they're just, very big catalysts for action. But does that shut down what Supermassive are trying to do? Because
Oh no, sorry, Drakos. Go.
I was gonna say, because just like the bot lane meta tomorrow is gonna be so completely different. Like top lane meta is gonna be completely different. Bot lane meta is gonna be like this entire series changes completely because we do not see the same discrepancies in the lane, and we also have bot lane would look the same if Gadget was, I don't know, Inax from last year, probably, right? But he's Gadget, so he's going to play weird shit, and that instantly forces.
Well, he can also play the standard stuff. It's just
he can, but come on. We're getting some Orianna flexes. Like
that's the hope.
We're getting. I mean, maybe not.
I also think that that's just it was so powerful because it felt like they were one of the first teams in plans to recognize the true power of Orianna and put like the necessary priority on the champion where other teams weren't. And speaking to like Unicorns and specifically their matchup to Supermassive, I said this in previous episodes, but just to reiterate, if people are just like tuning in for the time and. Medic, you can steal the points for tomorrow's cast.
Why do you think I'm here? Why do you think I'm here?
One of the big issues that I saw with unicorns is, again, because they were never really contested domestically in their region. They are proficient at snowballing, but Gambit was really the only team that could contest them mechanically. Their vision game was actually pretty weak. And the 2 games that they lost, when Gambit got a lead against unicorns, like, they would constantly face check into total darkness and not have proper information and basically try to roll the dice and then lose out on skirmishes because of number discrepancies. And it's because Gadget and Santas are kind of left alone. Unicorns like to play primarily through their top side, either primarily through mid, but also can play around through top, because Boss and No Man's are very strong, and Gadget and Santas are so self-sufficient. You've even seen that continue over to play-ins, like leaving Gadget alone on an Orianna where he's literally just like a farm champion. And that's not saying that they can't go bottom and play through him, just that they don't. And what that means is that your support isn't matching up with your jungle in the same way that Cacao and Snowflower will, and that means that your vision line's not moving. And if the 2 solo lanes, No Man's and Boss, don't snowball ahead, then the vision line doesn't move for unicorns. And when they do fall behind, I don't think that they have crisp fundamentals in terms of their vision game specifically to safely contest. And that's where Supermassive can really choke them out, because I thought their vision game was really phenomenal today. It showed as like a big strength, and that might be kind of like the turning point.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because historically, lineups that have been similar to this, especially lineups with Gadget in the bottom lane. If you remember when Nico kind of was a bot lane pick and then faded out. Gadget continued to play around. They had these crazy bot lane combos where they just had, like, they played Nico Zillion and they had so much setup CC that it was like, I think it was Diamond Procs on the roster.
Is this when they were on Vega Squadron?
Yeah, this, he would just walk bot lane. I don't remember the lineup, but I remember their jungler, whoever it was, maybe it was even Anonisic, but I remember Gadget specifically setting up for these big plays and just running bot lane. And they had the CC, they could do that, but you're right that it's something that we haven't seen this year. Now, if you give me a second, my food is finally here, and I get to eat today. Take over for me, team. Good luck.
Yeah, just to apologize for Drakos right now as he quickly walks away. To be fair,
he hasn't eaten.
My god, Josie was like fucking pog champ right now. I came in through the door. Now, I haven't eaten anything but a fucking croissant at like 8 a.m. And then for whatever reason, Medic, I was like, barista on site, time to like throw down some coffee. I literally had 4 coffees. And as we were in the cab ride home, I'm like, my hands are shaking. I'm looking at Drakos. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Like, I'm tweaking out now. I need something to like hit the caffeine and just start soaking it up, because all I was doing was pumping water and pumping coffee during the course of that 5-game series. Thank God the beginning series was a 3-0. I wouldn't have made it. And then as I walk in the door, my babe, she's got toast ready to go. And if those who know me, and if you don't, I'm 50% muesli. I am 50% yogurt. She had it nice mixed. There was some apple on top. If you guys haven't tried that, it's fucking OP. You're missing out.
Okay, you said she had toast ready to go, and then you said yogurt and muesli.
Yeah, I had 2. I had a piece of toast, some nice bread. I'm talking like that birdseed shit bread. You know what I mean? Like not like a sandwich, or like not like a Wonder Bread. This had like depth to it and texture. There were some nuts. Had a nice like spread of butter on. The apple was very sour, balanced the sweetness of the yogurt, the muesli for some nice texture, little raisins in there.
It's the €5 a loaf bread, not that.
It's that expensive shit bread. When it comes on the grocery receipt, and you're like, I paid €60 on a grocery bill. What the fuck?
My grandma used to buy that bread for me because that bread's healthy. Fuck that bread.
The bread was delicious.
Not that healthy. It's just healthier than normal bread.
Yeah,
but normal bread isn't healthy at all.
It doesn't make eating bread healthy. It's like a diet soda.
No, bread is not
a shitty choice. It's just a marginally less shitty
Wait, if I'm gonna make a shitty choice though, I want it to taste good.
That's true.
Yeah, so get those seeds out of there.
I had pho for lunch. It's delicious.
Oh, pho is bomb. My food still isn't here. I have a very nice gentleman calling to tell me that my food is further delayed after it's been already 30 minutes late.
Wow, you're getting screwed as hard as Matt Boys.
I am sorry, man.
It's fine. Did we talk about? Hold on, before we get back.
We didn't talk about anything else. Frost went off on her food.
I need to put Frosk on blast here for a second, and not on this comment, even though it was funny. Chat, we need to have a conversation about whether or not you are allowed to eat toast with jam.
Oh my God! Stop it!
And scrambled eggs. Is that an acceptable combo? Chat, I need to know how you feel about this.
It's all fucking going in the same hole.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. The salty and the sweet. Okay, guys, they lose their shit every single time.
Frosk has to do it. Frosk has to make the Twitch chat poll.
Frosk, can you figure out how to make it?
Okay, just walk me through it.
Okay, go to the top right corner where your profile is. Click on create a dashboard.
Oh, I have to be logged in. Oh, fuck this shit. No,
yeah, whatever.
God. This is what happened. I eat breakfast, and like every good, all-hearted American, I'm like, I need my eggs, I need my toast. I don't really give a fuck about bacon, but sure, that can be on the plate. Sure, like some space. Boom. Yeah. Toast. Butter on the toast. I like it when it like kind of sogs in, so you like take it's like crispy, and then in the middle it's a little bit soggy. It's nice. Boom. Sweetness of jam. I prefer strawberry. I'm not really about the blackberry shit. It's a little bit too sour.
There is a straw poll in the chat. If you could please go to the straw poll
Toast,
in the chat.
butter, strawberry jam. Nice sweetness. That fake jam, that jam that's like really inexpensive. You know that you're basically just eating sugar, but you enjoy it anyway. And then you take scrambled eggs. I like a little bit of moisture in my eggs, but it can't be soggy because we're already balancing out the wetness of the butter. The scrambled egg goes on top of the piece of bread. So bread, butter, jam, scrambled eggs, a little bit of salt, just like little bit of salt. And then you don't eat that shit with a knife and fork. It's just like a burrito, a pizza, a hot pocket, if you will. You kind of fold it and you put it in your mouth.
Okay, so I can kind of get on board with the idea because I do cheese and jam on toast. Cheese and jam is fecking delicious. I learned about it in Denmark. It is absolutely amazing. Like, you get the saltiness of the cheese and then you get the jam. However, eggs and jam, like...
Literally, it's no different than if someone picked up, ate a bite of their toast, and then ate a bite of their scrambled eggs, and then ate some bacon, and then took some milk. I'm just speeding up the process.
No, it's not. No, what? Bacon isn't sweet. Bacon is savory.
Yeah, it's about the sweetness and the savor in the mixture.
Why are you adding this jam in here? You don't need jam. If you want to have scrambled eggs on toast with some bacon, maybe a little bit of, deliciousness, some pepper, get some avocado in there. Oh, tasty. Now I'm hungry. And then have a jam sandwich afterwards as your dessert, your breakfast dessert. Anyone saying cheese and jam is bad, Camembert, you have like red cherry sauce with it, so you guys are just incorrect.
Vedius eats like 20
no,
minute
okay.
cooked pasta.
You can never use Vedius as a judgment of what should be good food.
It in ketchup.
Vedius
I don't know why I'm
is
taking
immediately
flame right now.
excluded from anything that is good food.
I'm
like
definitely
Vedius
not taking the
does
heat.
not make good food. Vedius makes sometimes edible things, and that's about it. 73% of people say eggs and jam on toast. No, you heathen. Only 27% of people say yes. I'm just saying.
That's actually surprisingly high. I'll be honest. I thought we'd get a good 80-20, maybe even a 90-10. Shout out to the...
Here's the thing. We were talking about cheese and jam. Have you ever had cheese and jam, Drakos?
So, yes. And it's actually bomb.
What the fuck?
It is actually bomb.
Here's the thing. Is it's like, I have like this chili jam in my fridge. That on a cracker with a nice sharp cheddar is fucking delicious.
No, mine is not weird.
I also want to say
That's
someone
weird.
pinged me on Slack to tell me to tell you to shut up, Frosk, because you're wrong. So
here's the thing. Here's
going across all media forms now.
It's just the flavor of eggs specifically.
Eggs doesn't have a flavor. It's texture. That's why you salt it.
What? Eggs does.
What?
Yo.
Okay, if you just want an egg texture, let's just make an agar medium and put jam on top of it, right? Like, come on.
I'm not wrong
to
here.
be fair, I can
You're mad because I tell the truth.
Okay, I'll be honest. I can believe that the texture of eggs, I can believe that the jam overrides the flavor of eggs and that you were just getting the eggs for the I can believe that. But don't you dare say that eggs don't have a flavor.
Eggs have a flavor. This is
actual. Have you ever had an egg tart that has a flavor?
I don't eat egg tarts.
Scrambled eggs.
I'm pretty sure it would be the tart part that gives it the flavor.
No, what? Frosk, I thought Mad Lions were going to be the biggest disappointment today. You have topped them.
I mean, you can't. You're lucky. It's almost, for me, it's impossible for you to top that level of disappointment. So you're blessed. Today you're safe. Okay, so sorry for the food interlude. I'm going to eat in the
Oh my god, this is perfect. Okay, so this is the Mad Lions today. Like, Carzy was the bread. He's the platform that everything is being built off of. Like, by itself, it's really nice. There's not a lot of nutritional value, but it's like that treat. You like it, and it kind of goes with every single meal. You can plug it in anywhere you want. It's delicious, okay? And then Kaiser's the butter that goes on top. Bread and butter, that is so good.
Salted
Shadow is the jam. And like, those things together, that's fine. Actually, I should say humanoid is the jam on top. The sweetness, it kind of like really makes it. Shadow is the egg, and Orome is the salt.
No, here's what it is for me. All right, bear with me. We're stuck on food metaphors now because I feel passionate about this.
No, fucking go to League of Legends.
Carzzy is bread. Right?
Okay.
But here's the thing. Mad Lions decided today, like they looked at that Ezreal performance, they say that's a nice fucking brioche. That's a brioche bun.
Yeah, it's got that.
You know what? They're like
sweetness to
Ezreal,
it.
mwah. But they're like, you know what? Brioche is good, but brioche is really rich. It's really buttery. So we need something fucking boring. We need something simple. We need the Senna of bread. So they put him on that white ass Wonder Bread. It's like no flavor. You want no flavor, actually just texture? That's fucking Wonder Bread. They put him on the Wonder Bread of bot lane champion Senna. And like, I get it. Look, you don't want the bread to fuck up your sandwich. The problem is, in your case, your best ingredients are your bread and whatever the fuck you want a humanoid to be, your meat or veggie equivalent if you're a thing. And instead, they're prioritizing like the fucking vegetables and the sauces because like, guys, you can't make good sauce. You got good bread, you got good meat. Make the bread good, make the meat good, and say fuck everything else.
Exactly.
They didn't make the bread good today, folks.
It's like they were all told to make a pizza.
They didn't make the bread good, and they also made a BLT with ketchup.
Bacon and ketchup. Fine at a Denny's
what's wrong
at
with
4
bacon
a.m.
and ketchup?
It's fine at a Denny's at 4 a.m. or in a breakfast mix, but eat bacon by itself with ketchup.
Well,
Bacon
I never
and lettuce,
eat bacon by
ketchup.
itself. You need like bacon with other things. It's the whole point.
I think that's wrong. I think
So-
I understand why you do that, but I do think you could eat.
The first series.
Yes.
Yeah.
First series of the day. LGD versus Rainbow 7, commanding 3-0 from LGD despite the false hope that we built in the start of Game 3. What do you got to say?
I have the clip, and I made a little thing if you want to try to run it.
Yeah, do you want to...
Yeah.
If you link me your clip, I will put it in the YouTube sync lobby, and then we can all sit and watch it together.
Or you
Sorry.
guys are you looking at the stream?
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a 2-second delay on stream. We'll just watch it on stream. It's all good.
Yeah, okay. So I've got the clip. Now, guys, the clip that I have pulled, I feel like is a great explanation of everything that was about this series and also everything that's wrong with LGD. So just as a refresher, I know, EU fans, you've got a lot to think about, but I'll refresh your mind at this point. This is the Kale composition. This is Game 3, LGD versus Rainbow 7. Now, Kale has already been dove. You can see right here, nice little boom, nice little death. So let's just go ahead and play this in 2x speed and see what happens here. Now, focus in on Peanut, who has made his reset. He's now doing his top side camps, okay? Now, the pings all come in from LGD that they want to do this dragon, but they're going to wait for Peanut to do his top side camps and then get their resets, and then set up for Drake. That's like the objective that's on the map. Peanut, though, sees that a slow crash is coming in from Ornn. He walks up here. He's going to waddle his little kindred ass, and he's going to look for the dive. Now, at this point, I'm going to pause it. Peanut setting up for a drive. Alone has teleport. And Alone actually does a really good job that he doesn't immediately teleport back to the wave. He can. You see him sitting just on base? He decides that he's going to walk. And because Peanut sees that Orianna has TP, he decides not to commit to this dive. Jose Diodo then shows up. He's like, fuck it. I'm out of here. Boom. All of these pings. He's like, okay, we're playing around bot side. This is going to be the dragon. Here we go. The wave is pushing in mid lane. You have priority here. Your Mark is already roaming up into river. Kramer has just taken his reset. Now you're like, oh, well, fuck. Now I got to take a break for Kramer to get back into the lane. That's fine. While he's doing that, I'll do my red buff. Goes and does his red buff. She is like, that's cool. I'll just push another wave. And this is the epitome of everything that is wrong with fucking LGD. Because look at this. Shie is going to get chunked out. He's got no mana. He's got no mana, and he's about to be fucking shockwave ulted. Boom. He suddenly has no health. And then Kramer gets back into lane. Peanut's going around the corner, and then fucking his bot lane's in. You're like, what? Why are you guys here? And then he walks up, and he's like, okay, I guess we'll do dragon. But you can't do dragon. You know why you can't do dragon? Because your fucking mid laner lost all of his mana, lost his priority, and lost his health. So he's like, well, fuck, I can't do dragon. I guess we just got it back. And all of that play setup, all of that time expended, now Peanut's camps are up on the top side of the map. He has to completely reset his pathing. They've just wasted the last 5 to 3 minutes of gameplay. And they do this over and over and over.
Okay, so...
Yeah, but good victories from LGD today. They were
yeah, really confident 3-0 that they had. Really clearly outclassing their opposition. Okay, so Frosco, let's recap there real quick. You said a lot of things, a lot of good things there. But like, all right, so Peanut, you feel like, I mean, pretty objectively, it feels like Peanut has this window of opportunity. He goes Drake. His mid laner has pushed the wave. They have prio. This is his one shot, his one opportunity. And then from what you're
His
telling me, it
one
sounds
mom
like Peanut
spaghetti.
goes, yeah, this is his mom's spaghetti moment. And Peanut goes, shit my Reds up. Never mind. We'll get him on the next wave. Completely and totally
Get him
oblivious
on-
seemingly to the fact that like his mid laner has no mana. His what would appear to be burnt all of his mana to push this wave in to get mid prio so that they can secure this Drake. And instead, Peanut's like, nah, dog, chill for one more wave. There's no way this guy just ults you and fucks you out of lane. Like, I got it. I'll get red and then we'll go dragon and then.
It's just
double
the
down.
ultimate. They're so selfish. Like, I swear, I don't know what their communication is like, but just watching them, I'm like, you guys can't talk to each other. Like, Kramer's like, I need the back right now for the item. And Shie's like, I pushed the wave, guys. Are we ready? And Peanut's on red buff, like, I really want to get this one down. And Mark's like already in river when he really shouldn't be. And this happens. And they're all doing completely different things. And they're all prioritizing their own wants and desires. They're not a team. They won because they were better players on the day. But there was no teamwork, and it hurts.
But are you actually, like, do you think that gets called out until groups? Because I just don't. I think LGD will just smash tomorrow, and then at groups, maybe they get called out against some teams that are teams and have the mechanical level that LGD do. But LGD mechanically today looked like a good team.
Yeah, but they got
maybe
to
not
face
in terms of teamwork.
Legacy.
Yeah, wait, but like, do you think, who do you rate higher, Legacy or
I
Rainbow
think
Seven?
that LGD have better players in each position, pound for pound, talent-wise, especially in mid lane. If she is on the right champion, we've seen that Tally can be really punished, he was by Jensen. Not that Shie is as good as Jensen, but that you can see the extremities of which he is punished because he's role swapped from top into mid lane. So his champion pool is quite narrow, and that's why he really relies on things like the set mid and the Galio mid. He really likes those tanks because it works with kind of like how he's always played the game. But I think that Legacy are a much better 5v5 team. Like, they're a much better teamwork team. So if they can, like how Balulu was able to control Humanoid in that theoretical mid gap, if Tally can do the same thing against Shie by taking away the Twisted Fate, keeping him held down into lane, and then just being the frontline initiator tank for his team, then I actually think Legacy win that series. I think that they're the better 5v5 team.
I think it depends on which Babip we see. Like, if we see the Nidalee Babip that he played in OPL playoffs and he was incredibly good at, and he can be aggressive, then maybe. Because Tally is an incredibly large weak point, so Babip's going to have to make sure that Peanut and Gia can't just, like, absolutely smurf on him. But if we see the J4 Babip that we saw in play-ins and in one of their finals games, then I just don't see a world in which that 2v2 wins for OPL or even keeps Gia down.
Yeah, I think it's really tough. I think I agree with like the stronger team coordination thing. I just don't. A lot depends on, I think, especially for me, like we talk about mid lane, but top lane for me too, because Tapoon, I don't know how you say that guy's name. I didn't have to cast the Legacy Games tournament. Mid gap or top gapped. A lot of players I did not expect him to dominate. Right, obviously he got blasted in the last Liquid game, but he smacked Armut. He had a lot of really solid performances, right? And so Long Xing has been all over the place, I think I want to call it. Like, he doesn't look bad, but also he does some dumb shit sometimes. And obviously on Ornn, I think he's going to be an immovable rock. And maybe Tapoon could get Ornn. You know, that also seems to be his most comfortable pick. But like, there's a world where like, if Peanut's not going top and we get Bob going top, that they could just build a big advantage top side. But as I already mentioned, like, Tally is just going to play set mid if he can get his hands on it. And that within itself isn't bad. Set mid obviously does a lot, but also there's so many picks that can just, you know, maybe not take mid prio from it, but like outscale it, outmatch it in fights. And I don't know. I'm concerned for Deadly.
I'd agree with that. I think Legacy's playstyle was very much going through Tapoon in the top lane. So if Long Xing oversteps, then Babip and Tapoon will like jump on him. I actually quite rate Raze and Isles as well. I think they're really good bot lane. I just don't know how far ahead they can get over Kramer Mark, because I think I would give them the 2v2 pure bot. I think Raze is just such a strong team fighter and such a strong laner, and Isles is an incredible rookie. I'd be surprised if he's not picked up by an LCS team next year.
Should we just call it LCS tryouts?
Yeah, it's him and FBI, full Aussie bot lane. Let's go.
How do you feel about that, Frosco? Because I mean, like, one thing that we talked about earlier in the year was kind of OS and OS exports. And
well, here's the thing. If you're going to scrape Oceania again, Legacy's kind of like the last team to scrape off of. Spawn said it on cooldown that there was a huge, obviously, migration of talent that left Oceania, particularly around the academy scene for LCS. And now you have, I think, Ryoma, FBI. I think think there's one more in the actual LCS that I'm forgetting. And then, of course, we had Destiny over in the LEC. And so that meant that Legacy kind of snap-grabbed everyone else, pulling the G2, if you will, of Tally, who was like such a strong top laner for Order, and then swapping down to the mid laner so you could grab Tapoon and run him in the top lane. So it's also why Legacy have been so dominant, because they've got all of the... I mean, they're like the super team, if you will.
Yeah. I think the big thing on international stages, obviously, you see Towie's lack of experience. And Spawn said it, and I'll just echo it. Like, Towie not a good laning mid laner, but Tally a very good player, and that like once you get out of the lane phase, that is a big asset to have. And as long as like Raze is comfortable carrying the damage burden, as long as Babip is comfortable carrying the damage burden, and I think this team can be fine. But that said, the most frustrating thing, and you talked about this, Frosk today when we were backstage, is that like LPL teams, love them or hate them, they're fucking annoying, because what they do is they'll shit the bed for 90% of a tournament, or in this case, 90% of plans, and then just 3-0 people. Like, it's meaningless. You know what I mean? And, like, what do we see from LGD tomorrow? Like, are they resting on their high horse? Do they still feel like the pressure's on? Do they show up today, like, all guns a-blazing, like, early game action and activity?
There's no high horse. It's just they play so many games. And the thing is FPX and Invictus Gaming were the back-to-back world champions. Invictus Gaming in groups looked really fallible. They were dropping games. Fnatic got the best of them. I believe they came second out of that group behind Fnatic. FPX dropped games to Splice, so best of one format as well. But the thing is, and when I was casting the LPL, like, your top teams were never super dominant for a majority of it. Like, yeah, they'd be near the top of the standings, but people had some real big shitters for, like, the whole split before it came to playoffs. And we always talked about it, that the teams that are the top teams find the sixth gear when you have to find it, when either like the fan base or the coach or whoever is like taking off the belt and like, you better fucking work. And then you see the LPL teams like show their ceiling, if you will, which the ceiling for LGD still doesn't look that high. They do not look like a super impressive team, but obviously looked much better than what they had shown in the round robin of plans. But it's so frustrating.
I think you even see it in LEC now, right? Like, who got to finals? G2 Fnatic. Who looked really weak in the regular season? G2 Fnatic. Like, sometimes you can shit the bed for a while, but you have the players who have that sixth gear who are able to bring it up on the world stage. And, I mean, part of that is experience. Part of that's being in this position many times before. And LGD are probably our most experienced team in planes, like, of all of them, in terms of how many, apart from TL maybe, how many international tournaments you've gone to, how many games you've played, right? So,
yeah. I don't know how it feels as a fan to watch that, because I try to stay pretty objective in LEC. But I know as like anyone who's expected to do any kind of analysis, those teams are fucking in. Like, I love you, G2 and Fnatic, but goddamn, I hate going into playoffs and Frostgurn's like, Rogue's gonna beat them. Fnatic have shown literally nothing, and yet I still have to go. Yeah, but they're Fnatic, and maybe they were just asleep. Maybe they were just asleep for an entire half the season. It's like,
it's a fucking catch-22, and you can't do anything. You can't be like, I just think Fnatic will win because they always win. And, like, they've been playing like shit. And then if Fnatic don't win, everyone's like, this fucking moron. Just thought, yeah, that's how it works. And I'm like, so awful.
Yeah,
like, you keep talking about
there's no right
Chinese
answer,
teams.
right? Like, because, like, at the same time, like, obviously, the LGD fan bandwagon is not very big right now. You know what I mean? So, like, if you say LGD are gonna win and you don't really have a good reason, but you just feel it, like, you feel like this is the game where they turn it on, no one's gonna be like, okay. They'll be like, okay, I get it. But, like, if this was the same situation where, like, let's say G2 had been running it and we're about to go into a best of 5 and for some reason we believe in them, people would be all over it. Like, we're very fortunate in this situation where we're just blind, like, not entirely blindly putting our faith in LGD, but, like, a little bit given the inconsistencies where it's like, people just aren't that worried about it, you know?
I think my favorite moment from LGD versus Rainbow Seven is when Jose Dioto was on Lee Sin and Peanut was on Kindred, and Peanut walked in front of him and flashed I think it was the RNG logo. He flashed a team logo, and Jose Dioto immediately jumped on him, kicked him off of the ultimate, and then got him with the end of the it was so good. It was so BM where Peanut's like, ha ha, and Jose Dioto's like, fuck you.
Yeah, Jose Dioto got those a lot. There's a lot. Is Kindred looked like the range indicator was not correct a lot that game, because there's a lot of times where someone died right as Kindred ult came up, and I was like, was that guy in the circle? Or there's a lot of times where Peanut like looked like he was just like towing the line, and the game was like, no, we're not taking that bullshit. You got to be in the circle or you're out of the circle, because Lee Sin got a lot of the kicks out.
Yeah, that final Kindred game from Peanut actually wasn't amazing. Like the amount of mistakes he made. He like Ocean Dragon was taken down. He then jumps into the pit, flashes, pops his ultimate down, and then gets kicked out of his ultimate immediately and dies. Like there were some mistakes, and that's why I don't think LGD will be a force to be reckoned with at groups. Well, if they continue to play the way they are, if they continue to play the way they're playing. But I just can't see Legacy taking them down. As like I had a talk with Spawn today, and I think maybe I underrate Legacy just because there's an OPL history of like losing. But last year they took 2 games off the LCL representative and went 2-2 in their group, and then just lost out on a tiebreaker, so they weren't quite able to make it through. And maybe Legacy can show us more, but I haven't seen enough from them at this planes to think that they'll beat LGD.
I do think that Oceania will often play towards the scaling edge. Like, that's always been kind of their vibe for the last few times, and I think that bodes well. But I do agree that, like, it's not an easy series by any means, but I think if Legacy draft 5v5 every single time and just 5v5 LGD every game, I think they can find 3 games in 5.
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't feel like you can firmly bet on either side. I think Medic's right? Like the history of...
You can't firmly bet, but I don't think it... Like, before I would have been like, Oceania doesn't have a fucking chance in hell at beating
I think
LGD.
there's a lot more of a chance now than there was, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can approach this series with 100% confidence on either side. Like, even if you're a diehard OPL fan or a diehard LPL fan, because, like, obviously, LGD have been all over the place. And for Legacy... On the one hand, they like smurfed out of their mind. They blew teams up. They had so many good performances. And on the other hand, they got hard fucking blasted by TL in that last game.
I think it might have been the quickest game ever at Worlds, by the way. I had a look back through some of the numbers, and it's definitely close to the quickest game ever at Worlds, the TL Legacy one.
And don't get me wrong, LGD are not going to have the quickest game against them because they're not going to be clean enough, I think, to snowball that kind of lead. But their early game... Their solo queue-esque early game is good enough to get those kind of leads if they find a weak point to push on. I think.
Yeah. And I think the weak point is going to be Tally in the mid lane. I think GA had a really good game today, a really good day today. And although he made a couple of mistakes in mid, I don't think Tally's going to be able to put up much of a chance. If you give him Twisted Fate, Orianna, or Syndra, I think GA just wins.
Chat, I found it.
Oh, here we go.
This moment. It was my favorite moment of all time. He flashes RNG at him and then just gets...
That's incredible.
It's actually so funny.
Yeah. Peanut wins the war for sure because he won the best of 5, but the battle was won by Jose.
He gets the flash out of him, and Jose Dioto's like, "Shut the fuck up!
Shut the fuck up, Peanut! Get carried by your fucking
amazing,
boy."
Oh God, that's so good. That may actually be one of my favorite plays I think I've ever seen at Worlds.
I think that's the instant karma of it is so absolutely fantastic. Well, as we get closer to the end of the show here, let's talk a little bit about I think predictions for tomorrow, because obviously 2 more teams are going home tomorrow. We've talked a lot about Legacy versus LGD. Frosk, it sounds like... I don't know why it sounds so
if I was on the fucking call, I'd be like, the safest prediction here is LGD over Legacy. But I do not think...
you're not on the call, so what do you got for me, girl? What's it gonna be?
This is such a cop-out, but I would be really surprised if it was a 3-0 for LGD. I think that is just like if I had to make a solid prediction, I do not think that is possible. I think Legacy
That's not a
can fix the
prediction.
games.
That's
not
an
a
anti-diction.
That's
the opposite.
You don't just no stakes.
It's
just us. It's just us in chat. Us and these 3,000 people and like the 6,000 people we're gonna watch.
Get ready to clip. Get ready to clip.
Okay.
Between us.
Carbon, if you're listening, Legacy, if you're listening, these are the best champions that LGD play. It's Nidalee, it's Twisted Fate, and it's Ornn. Now, if you're on blue side, you're not going to ban the Ornn. You're going to priority pick it, or hopefully LGD will pick that one away from you. And then you're just going to make sure that whatever it is, that Peanut is on Lilia. You want that Lilia. He's not going to give you the Cacao Lilia performance. Then just make sure that Tally, like if you force Shie onto like a Syndra or something, don't give him the Orianna. The Orianna's too good. Maybe you give Tally the Orianna. But if you force him onto the Syndra, then you're going to be grabbing, you like get them big tanky boys. You're like, I'm going to get the set. I'm going to get Galio. There's going to be no kill pressure here. Run your Camille. Camille Galio. Do that combination. You fucking love that combination. That's so good. Just stack as much hard CC as possible. I just want you just press R. Just put your faces onto it and press on. Just keep telling your guys, They may be better players. They may outplay us sometimes. They may outskirmish us, but we can outthink them. They don't know how to team fight. Everyone's all over the board. Everyone's doing different things. Longsheng plays 2 champions. He plays Ornn and he plays Volibear right now. Just put him on the Volibear. It's fine. I believe in you.
I hate to take a break from your Epic Worlds themed ASMR, but that's not a prediction. What the fuck? I appreciate. Okay, let's say they follow your advice to the T, Frosk. Then what is your prediction?
If they follow my advice to the T, it's 3-2 Legacy. If they don't, then it's 3-1 LGD.
That's all we wanted. Don't clip just the 3-2. Make sure you give the caveat. They have to follow all of the ASMR delivered advice. Let Carbon know it's here. It's all here in the VOD, wherever. Clipped out on Twitch chat. That's where it is. I think it's 3-0 LGD.
Yeah, so
maybe 3-1.
No,
They're
I'm
just
3-0.
You can tell me they're stupid, or they're not playing as a team. Sorry, stupid's too harsh. You can tell me they're uncoordinated. You can tell me that Peanut got the shit kicked out of him on that RNG emote play, because he did. But I don't see it. I feel for Tally. I think he'll be a much better weak point than from Ase in that Kale game that we saw. But I don't know. Maybe I'm doubting the OPL. I've doubted them before and they've risen up, but it doesn't feel like it's there.
I think the big thing for me is I am overestimating Seed 4 teams a lot of the time. But I don't think in this case I'm overestimating LGD by saying they should 3-0 this. Just because, like,
that's
the key weaknesses.
It's mean to Legacy.
How is it mean to Legacy?
Because they've had a good tournament.
100%. They've had a very good tournament. Do I think they have performed at the quality that I saw from LGD today? No.
Medic, I just did the breakdown of the series that
LGD
LGD won.
Very exact scenarios. Yeah, no, LGD didn't perform perfectly, but they still performed better than I've seen from Legacy. Legacy lost, like, pretty convincingly in a few of their games to the very obvious mistakes. I mean, LGD did that as well, so that's not a good example. But yeah,
TL. They faced the best team in play-ins, like TL, and TL would wear LGD like a hat.
I mean, they did beat Supermassive. They wear them like a hat. Jesus Christ.
I guess they did beat Supermassive. Okay, wait. Legacy have beaten Supermassive.
They beat Mad Lions. They beat INTZ.
Fuck it. Legacy 3-1. Let's go. Screw it.
LGD's gonna win. I fucking want Legacy to win. Don't get me wrong. I do.
Raise your koalas.
The Os brethren have been nothing but good to me. Don't forget to raise your Kiwi, too, for our boy raising the bottom lane. It's not
I think Raise might be a Kiwi.
Raise
is a Kiwi. That's, yeah.
I still got it.
So, yeah, raise your Kiwis, too. But I can't do it. Until I see it happen, I can't believe that it's possible. You know what I mean? Until Europe beats an LPL team in a world final, it's not possible. It's just it's beyond fathomable to me.
I get that.
That's a leap for my brain. I can't comprehend it as much as I would love to. So we'll see. The other series, potentially the closer series, depending on how you look at it. Unicorns of Love versus Supermassive. We talked about it a lot earlier in the show, but like who actually takes it at the end of the day? Medic, do you want to give any ASMR advice? Frost, do you want to give any more ASMR advice?
Let Frost do her ASMR advice, but who's she going to side with this time? That's the question. Because she sided with the underdog last time.
So I'm a really big fan of Unicorns of Love, and I do think that Supermassive are the slightly smarter team, but I do think that Unicorns of Love beat them pound for pound talent-wise, especially in that mid lane position. I just am a huge No Man's fan. I think the creativity in draft can really shine for Unicorns right now. So I'm going to go for Unicorns. I think that it's going to be a 3-1 to Unicorns here. If they happen to fall down, it's because we're constantly seeing Unicorns flip on Herald, and Supermassive are actually quite a clever team when it comes to the map. I do not believe that they're going to allow the Lilia to go through. Ananasik is a much stronger jungler on the current Worlds meta, so I'm going to go Unicorns.
Okay. Wait, you think Ananasik is a stronger jungler than Cacao?
Than Shadow, yeah.
She's not playing Shadow.
Yeah, but the thing is like Cacao looks super fancy and fun because he's against Shadow.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got that.
That makes sense. Sorry, it sounded like you were, yeah, I got that. We should have probably given you the benefit of the doubt there. It just sounded like you were saying some dumb shit. But you weren't. That makes sense. Flawless.
I have to point this out. Medic, we were in the back room, and I was with Vedius and Drakos, and we were watching Syndra versus Orianna, and it was level 1. Oh, it's coming, Drakos. And I was like, Syndra will actually get priority push here because she can get off more Qs, like I think in like a duration than Oriana can, and so she can get the push. And Vedius opens his mouth and he was like, "No, I don't think that's right." And I was like, "No, it is right." To which then Vedius had to go and look it up and found that what he thought the cooldown was 8 seconds was 4 seconds. To which then I was like, "Why didn't you just trust me, Vedi?"
To be fair to Vedius.
Yeah, on Vedi with things like that, he does just always look them up because he rarely trusts you.
It was also me.
It was also him.
It was also me. You can't just throw Vedi. I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna jump under that bus with him because Vedi has historically played more thousands of League of Legends games. Well, actually, Frost, you were also a dirty grinder back in the day, so I actually don't know.
I know. I used to play so much League of Legends.
But Vedi's played so much fucking Syndra. So when he tells me Q has an 8-second cooldown at level 1, it sounds kind of off to me because I think it's lower than that. But I'm gonna give Vedi the benefit of the doubt. Now, the thing that I forget is Vedi, while a great analyst, has the worst memory for patch notes and character abilities of any caster I've ever met.
Also
so I definitely
should.
Nocturne. Also does mostly only play Nocturne. Yeah, but. I'm sorry I didn't support you.
Thank
you. Were
you.
Right.
That's all I wanted.
But remember, we all agreed Syndra got the push just for different reasons because we thought the Q did more damage. And it turns out not only does it do more damage, it has a much lower cooldown. There you go.
Interesting.
Vedi
discusses like Vedi debates support cooldowns with me from time to time. I'm like, you've never played this role in your life. I think I understand the support cooldown slightly better. Yeah.
I literally ask you. We'll play bottom lane, and I'm like, medic, when is the hook back up? And you're like playing top lane. You're like, I don't. Like 30 seconds. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I should never play top lane again.
You remember that you're the hero for tanking top lane for me, so I'm not 0-6 at 5 minutes because I am such an abysmal laner. Anyway,
I go 3-2 unicorns, by the way. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's what I was getting towards. 3-2 unicorns. Frost, what was your final prediction? You said unicorns. Was it 3-1?
I said 3-1.
3-1.
But I did get the caveat that if Supermassive won the series, it would happen at Rift Herald almost every single time.
That thing, the thing that fucking scares me is that we all agreed as a group, per the analysis of everyone heading into this tournament, and you're the person who prepped the most for UOL Frosker, and you said they flip at Herald every game.
And I was right. They do flip at Herald every game.
So that's concerning to me when you say the way that they lose this is if they flip at Herald, and then you also follow it up by saying they're going to do it every game no matter what.
Yeah,
but sometimes the flip
sometimes it works.
So. I also think losing at Herald for unicorns isn't the end of the world because Supermassive seemed to flip around mid lane at like 20 minutes for 3 of the 5 games today, and unicorns will have better hands than them. So if they take that flip, maybe they can get back into games that they're losing.
God, so much depends on solo lanes. I feel like Bolulu isn't that bad. He's just worse than humanoid, but how big of a difference is it? I feel like top should be pretty even. Yeah.
Jungle is the one I'm really gonna watch.
It's actually gonna be team play that will determine this.
I'm gonna go towards Supermassive. I think it'll be 5 games, but the way that Supermassive kind of dialed in their opponents, it will be harder. I think it will not be as easy as it was with Mad Lions because their weak points on the side of Unicorns of Love are not as glaring. You know, it's not just like how can we make these 2 players who are clearly underperforming perform at their worst, which is I think what Supermassive figured out today. But I think their bot lanes are rock. And until I see UOL's bot lane do more than kind of be this like bastion for mid lane counter pick with these like Oriana bot stuff, then I'm just gonna I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna err on the side of Supermassive. Maybe I'm biased because their style of League of Legends is more understandable to me than this Oriana bot nonsense. But like,
so Drakos, I'm sorry, but I've conclusively worked out you're wrong, and it's gonna be 3-2 unicorns because unicorns have side selection, and blue side has 66% win rate.
100% today.
100% today. 66% across the course of play-ins. So unicorns win.
Orome versus Boss's hype. I agree. Yeah, we're gonna have to find out. As we round out here, do you get one more?
The 2 biggest difference in these series is that you can probably automatically tell who's going to win or lose from Legacy versus LGD by draft. Like as soon as you see draft, before you see anything else, you will very be able to be like, Legacy win this game or LGD win this game. For Unicorns versus Supermassive, even if I don't agree with the draft, I still think that it comes down to execution between those 2 teams to determine who wins.
Yeah. Unless there's a massive glaring draft difference.
I mean, unless someone just like really.
If someone gives up like Ornn, Lucian, Oriana, it's like oh.
But even then, like if you showed me Game 5 draft today with Supermassive versus UOL, I wouldn't immediately assume who won. Like it was pretty easy for me to look at draft and be like, "Fuck, Mad's in trouble."
Yeah.
But like Boss is a better top laner. And while Malphite is certainly going to be comfortable in the Renekton lane, like Renekton has windows to win that. Orome couldn't hit them, couldn't do it, and Arma was clearly the better top laner. But like there's more room for interpretation there when the players are stronger individually in their role, right? There's always that potential. So I agree. I think it's going to come down to the individual games. But as we look to close out today's episode.
Wait, quickly, I'm just going to make chat not mad at you. He's saying Boss is better than Orome, not better than Armut.
Yeah, Boss is
That
better
was
than
what he
Orome,
was
not
saying.
better. That's,
Just
yes,
so
to
the
clarify, chat.
Turkish fans in chat won't be angry at you then,
Chat's
Drakos?
really
We're all good?
mad.
Chat,
Yeah.
I don't know
Guys, back
which of
away
these two
from
top
the knife,
laners is
like-
better, but they're both better than Orome has been performing. That's what I'm saying. So top lane not going to be as easy as what
Drakos
Super
says
today.
Armut sucks and Orome is better than him. Any other things you want to say, Drakos, to inflame the Turkish fans?
Enjoy him while you can. I'm glad you like Arma. He's going to be here or in LCS next year, okay? So enjoy your fucking high horse before he gets poached, kiddos, okay?
Rogue Armut.
if that's what he
we're
wants.
calling. Yeah.
Anyway, Medic, thanks for coming on. Before we go, we always ask some Twitter questions, but as we do so, a reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe to Frosk and I's Twitch channel. And if you're already subscribed to Frosk and I, subscribe to Medic. There are so many options, and there are so many ways to support. And if you don't have money to subscribe, that's cool. Don't put yourself out. It's COVID times. It can be super tough financially.
Yeah,
We
guys,
get that.
please
So just follow
pay
us
your
on
rent and feed
social media.
yourselves.
Yes. Yeah, do that stuff. So follow.
If you have
subscribe.
Prime, though, Prime check for Fosco.
I don't understand
Any
what
primers?
Prime Check is. I don't understand.
You just check to see if you
You
have your
get-
Twitch Prime.
You
Why
get
are-
one
is
free
everyone
sub a
given?
month,
Oh, that's weird.
and it does not auto renew for you. So
Yeah.
if you want to say subscribe to Frosk and I for 8 months in a row with your Prime, you have to come back every time and do it.
I see.
Just remember that you are supporting eggs and jam on toast if you subscribe to Foscurin.
I'm
I-
sorry,
we don't-
I live my life on the edge. Maybe if I had more primes, I could afford something other than eggs.
First question, Medic. Is it a burden being the prettiest person at Worlds? That's the question.
I don't think I'm the prettiest person at Worlds.
Humble.
What?
humble.
Who's the
I wouldn't
prettiest
know.
person?
So, chat, you can judge for yourself. If you think Medic is the prettiest person at Worlds, head on over to
God.
Instagram.com/MedicCast and check out the absolutely stunning progress picture posted by Mr. Medic. This is the last time I'll shout it out because I know it's like embarrassing, and I appreciate that you put yourself out there. But it is cool, and it is
let's be honest,
inspiring.
because I got quite drunk and then put it up. That's what happened with that photo.
You made the
was-
plan sober, you
I
drank
did.
to get the courage, and you made it happen. And
That is
that's
true.
all that
That's
I'm worried
true.
about.
No, thank you
Yeah.
anyway. It's kind of you.
Well, you know, plus Instagram followers.
You definitely didn't answer the question.
Let's get those numbers
Foscurin
up.
is the most beautiful person at Worlds.
Clearly, it's Machine.
Let's
No,
do
no,
Machine is
but-
good. Machine's a good cop
Machine is good.
Because Machine leaves soon, and so
Mm-hmm.
But then who's
They-
the second most attractive?
are you?
Vedius.
Vedius. Vedius has got it. It's the new glasses and it's the new hair. And I don't know
But
where
yeah,
he
the
got the
hair and the
idea to
glasses
do
are
both
like-
of those things, but whoever did that,
I wonder
whatever
where he got the idea to do
whatever
both of those
team of
things.
individuals that may have suggested
Whatever
that he do that, maybe the
coordinated
entire
effort.
LEC team, all those people are also beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Kdra's definitely up there as well, actually.
yeah.
I
Like,
just think
Kdra is
the
high up on
LEC
my
team's
list.
having a big glow up. We've
Clipshot
had
is sexiest at Worlds at the moment. He does have a DILF vibe. I feel you. I feel
every
you,
time
chat.
I see Trevor in the turtleneck though, I'm like, it just looks like an uncircumcised T-shirt. I just don't like them.
Look, I feel you. Turtlenecks are weird. You do feel like a penis every time you
It's
wear
just
them.
it's
That's the
weird.
reality. Know that, chat, that when you see us in turtlenecks on air, we know we look like a penis, but an elegant penis.
That's why I don't wear on. I'm a big enough dick already. It's fine.
Do I want to
Um,
play Flex Queue in 3 hours when Twitch Rivals is over? I don't know, Ender.
Do you guys want to play Flex Q after this?
I'm gonna go on a walk. I have not
Oh,
done
that's a
anything
good idea.
physical
I
today,
need to
but-
do. I need to spend some time with my partner.
but potentially
Okay.
later this evening.
Oh
Potentially.
yeah. I mean, I have to be up at
I
8.
have to be
so-
up. Oh, I also have to be up at 8. Maybe not tonight. Maybe
well, like
maybe tomorrow
7.
night.
Yeah. I might just play
Um,
PoE.
Okay, what else we got? You think you see Fasting Senna again? Okay. Chat, Fasting Senna I think can be fine. Don't get me wrong. I think the set combo I like better than Wukong, but Wukong sucks ass. Please stop picking Wukong. I believe that better top laners will be able to make it work, but I hate this champion. I'm so tired of people picking Wukong. Champion was nerfed. It's not as good as it used to be. It's not just like you get to 2 items and you win the game because he's so ludicrously powerful. So please stop picking Wukong. You can pick Fasting Senna, but please don't roll Wukong.
I did enjoy Kaiser's Wukong. I thought he had some really good fights, but I agree with you that the champion is boring and not fun. And
It's not that
good.
it's boring, and he did have some good fights. It's just that you remember the first time he picked it, it was like he gets to 2.5 items, the game.
Yeah, and it just blows him up.
Wukong is so powerful. But both Senna and Wukong. Well, Wukong got nerfed a bunch and then kind of ignored, right? But Senna's just been repeatedly nerfed over and over, patched again. Mostly soul drop rate, but like still. And now it's just like that lane isn't, I think, the terror that it once was.
Small sample size.
Frost, you want to find the last one? You want me to find? Fighting Senna with Cho'Gath? No way.
No, I was trying to find where the raid point's going to be, and I found one.
Oh, here's an interesting debate that I had today. What about Mage's Senna support?
You're really squishy.
So
against melee supports, you get all in early, right? So
but you could like Gadget you could run Orianna and Senna, and then you are squishy, but you have a bit of tankiness from your ball. You get extra resistances.
I don't want to say that that's dumb because they might play that tomorrow, and you could be considered a profit. I don't know. I think the issue that I have with that thing is that when I think about enchanter supports, Senna is on the weak end of the enchanter support list.
Yeah, but then the whole idea is that she gives you another threat later on, right? Yes. Whereas other enchanter supports don't give you that. So I wouldn't run it with like a Twitch, but I might run it with like an Orianna or maybe a Karthus if you can play safe bot side, but that's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, I just...
Draco, I need to go night-night.
You want to go night? Okay. I agree. Like, Meg, I think there is room. I worry about it. There's potential, though. I'll give you the potential. Okay. It's time to go night-night. Chat, thank you. This has been Worlds After Dark. Episode 5 after Play-ins Day 5. 2 teams eliminated today. That's 4 teams eliminated from Worlds total. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. We'll eliminate another 2 tomorrow. Who will it be? You can find out for yourself. Watch.lolesports.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, as well as follow all of the wonderful pundits on this show, or subscribe to Frosk's Twitch. Euphoria is also coming. We're going to be recording it
record it tomorrow
after the show.
Wow.
In the slot, we would normally do this, so we might also do this, or we might take a day off, chat. So if you miss us here, just know that it's for a good cause, because Euphoria is also coming back, and we're going to find out if we can get some sweet EU player guests on for that tomorrow. Regardless, thanks for watching this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you next time.
Everyone, wave.